Welcome to the Freelancers Tea Break podcast, the 3-minute podcast for finding a little time out of your day to boost your freelance business. Now, today's podcast is actually going to be slightly longer, so I would suggest that you treat yourself to not only a cup of tea, but also a slice of cake. Today, I want to talk about what you can do before you go freelance. So this is for everyone that has wanted to go freelance for a long time, dreams of the day where they can work from home or work wherever they want, doing whatever hours they want in theory, and working with clients that really inspire them on projects that they are really passionate about. Now, I know that when you are thinking about going freelancing, quite often it's all of the things that are scaring you that jump to your mind. So one of the things that I did in a video that went out to my subscribers recently is a video on what objections people have to going freelance, or what stops them making the jump. And overwhelmingly, the main reason is security and money security. So when we discussed this in a bit more detail, I discovered that a lot of people felt that long-term employment jobs, are much more secure than freelancing. So then I put it to them that if you are working in a long-term job, what notice period do they have? Most people have about 30 days. So that's the length of their job security. If they get called into a meeting and get made redundant on the spot, they probably only have 30 days until they next have to find some work and find some money coming in. Now, as a freelancer, if anything happens to one of my clients, because I spread the risk and have several clients, I actually am lowering the risk, because if I lose one client, I still have several others to keep me afloat until I replace that previous client. So in a way, freelancing is actually more secure than employment now, especially as we are only just coming out of the recession and jobs are still a little unsteady. So if you want to see that video, I will be sharing it very soon on the blog. But for my email subscribers, you should find it in last week's email subscription. So this week, I want to talk about the things that I think people should do before they go freelance. So the things that they should think about, or the planning that they should do. So I'm going to jump straight in with my first one, which is discuss it with your loved ones. Now, I'm not going to promise that everybody in your life is going to fully support your jump to freelancing, because in the UK at least, it is still seen as the unsafe option, despite what I've just said about it actually spreading the risk and being less risky. Our cousins over in the US are a little bit forward or further forward with freelancing, and they make up a much bigger proportion of the workforce, so they're a bit more savvy about it. But the likelihood is, if you are discussing going freelance with your friends and family, there will be a few people that will be negative about it, potentially just because they don't understand the facts, or don't even know exactly what a freelancer is. That's still quite a common thing, that people have no idea what a freelancer is, or it's seen as someone that is having a hobby career or a little job on the side and things like that. So number one actually ties in with number two a little bit. My second suggestion is that you make sure you thoroughly research what you're doing. So you thoroughly research who your target market will be, what you will be doing, how you can do it, how you're going to be able to fund it. You need to give a thorough idea, because then when people do question you on it, you'll be able to give them a strong answer. So just jumping back to discussing with the loved ones, if you have a partner, I would say it's very important that they do support you with your freelancing. They don't necessarily have to understand everything about it, but it is probably going to be a hot topic in your discussions after work and things like that. So it's really important that you can get them on side when it comes to freelancing. And if you have supportive friends, that's fantastic. It really helps. But I would also suggest finding friends who already are freelance and maybe pick their brains. Feel free to jump on over to the Facebook group I have for freelancers, which is, you should be able to find it by searching a freelance lifestylers, and you'll be able to find that link on my blog. And you'll feel free to pick people's brains about freelancing, or get support or suggestions of what you can do. I cannot tell you how important it is to have friends who are in the business or in the industry, because it really helps for those wobbly moments. Okay, so number 2 was research, and you can't under-research this. Don't get too carried away and do too much research, but it's really important that you have a plan in place. And one of the things that I do on my e-course is have a segment on creating a business plan. I'm not talking about an old school present to the bank business plan, although you can do that obviously, but something that will keep you focused and has objectives and goals and monthly goals and things like that. Now, my third suggestion is, if you are already in employment and you see yourself remaining there for the next few months, save up 3 months, at least 3 months, but 3 months is a basic, of rent or your mortgage payments, and perhaps a little bit more as a buffer, which means that when you launch yourself as a freelancer, you have that money that you don't have to worry for 3 months. And it allows you to grow your business without completely panicking and thinking you have to earn enough to pay the bills from day one. So please make sure that you, if you can, put that money aside. It's not always possible. If you're made redundant or anything happens where you can't necessarily go straight from employment to self-employment, it's not always possible, but if you can, it's very beneficial. This fourth point kind of ties in with that. So consider your options. Is it possible to go part-time, or is it possible to build your freelance business up around a job and then move into self-employment when you have built up the business enough to make that jump? Having the part-time job might not even be necessary financially, but it's quite nice sometimes to have that little platform to work from, and the little confidence boost of having that backup if you need it, even if you don't. And hopefully, if everything goes well with your business, you'll be making the jump sooner than you think. But sometimes some businesses are flexible to allowing you to maybe drop down to 4 days or 3 days so you can concentrate on your business. My final suggestion is that I want you to answer 3 questions for me, and they're very important questions in helping you decide what you want to do going forward and what kind of mental blocks you have against moving forward. So the first question is, why do you want it? So what I would like you to do is sit down with a piece of paper, give yourself 10-15 minutes and write down all the reasons why you want to be freelance, what benefits you think you would get out of it, and what makes you passionate about it. And you could even, if you want to, if you prefer to be more visual, create a Pinterest board of all the reasons why you want to be freelance. This will help you when you have a wobbly moment, but it will also reinforce to you why you want to do it. The second question I want you to ask yourself is, what do you want to have achieved in 1 year? So this is where it comes to creating goals and objectives. So for example, you might decide that you want to, by the end of the first year, earn £15,000 or £20,000, or maybe even more than that. So you may decide that you have a financial goal. If you are a blogger turned business, you may decide that you want to work with a few key clients, or you may want to increase your website hits by a certain percentage. Finally, you may also want to work out how you can work a certain number of days. So you may find that you decide, for the first 6 months I'm going to work part-time, but by the end of the 6 months I want to then be moving to full-time self-employment for the final half of the year. So have a think about what you want to have achieved, and imagine how you'll feel and what position you will be in this time next year, because that really helps imagining how you will be in a year's time. So whenever you are struggling or whenever you're feeling unconfident, imagine how you will feel when you've succeeded in your goals, and just imagining that feeling will really boost your confidence. And the final question I want you to ask out of those 3 is, what scares you? So list the reasons why you're not already going freelance, or why you haven't gone freelance yet, or what concerns you. And when you've made a list, and you'll probably find that the more you write, the more you think of them, and they're ones that you were not even aware of. So I've recently done Denise Duffield Thomas's Lucky Bitch course, where I learnt about what's stopping you achieving certain things and increasing your income. And I realised as I continued to write down my reasons that one of the reasons was that I didn't want to be greedy. I didn't want to increase my prices because I didn't want to be greedy, or I didn't want to be seen as selfish, or I felt that earning lots of money made you a bad person. And it's quite interesting that you don't realise some of these blocks in your brain until you start writing them all down. Once you've got a list, next to them, I want you to write down next to it how you're either going to get over that fear or deal with that fear, or whether you're just going to work on clearing that fear. So have a think about going through all of those, and I'm sure with most of them you will find that it's doable to deal with them or clear them. But if you have any problems, please do tweet me at freelance_life on Twitter. Now, one other thing I want to talk about while I'm on the podcast is the e-course that I run. It previously ran on the 1st of every other month, but I will be introducing it from mid-September, where you can join at any time, work through it at your own pace. You still have the 30 tasks, but you can do it in whatever order that you like. There'll also be a monthly mastermind Google Plus Hangout so that you can talk to myself and other freelancers, bounce ideas around. There will be 4 videos as part of this, and a daily podcast for every single one if you prefer to listen to your tasks on the go. There are also going to be a couple of other things that will be announced nearer the time. I would love it if you could keep an eye on your email in the next few days as well, because I will be sending you one more extra video which is all about how to find clients, and I'm going to tell you my 5 secrets to finding brilliant clients that work for your business. So what I would love you to do is, if you're already on my blog, jump down to the comments below this post, and if not, jump on over to the blog now. It's freelancelifestyle.co.uk, and I want you to let me know what you want to have achieved in 1 year. So where you want to be, how you want to feel, what you want to have achieved in 12 months.